Hello YouTube and welcome back for another video. As you see in the description, this video is going to be my opinion on my electric bike. I got the electric bike like five or 6 months ago, and was pretty unsure on what I'd think, because obviously electric bikes are pretty new in general, and I'd never really rode a bike with full suspension, because I basically went from riding a dirt jump bike and got the electric bike, and obviously they're very different in the respect of the weight, and one's a hardtail, one's got a shock. There's a lot of differences, I guess, and even still now I go from using the dirt jump bike a lot, go onto the electric bike, and it feels weird, like it does take some getting used to, and vice versa. But yeah, this is just going to be like a bit of an honest video, just to say what I think's like good about the electric bike and what I think's like not so good, because there are like mixed opinions on the electric bikes. Like some people obviously like them, some people don't like them quite so much, and yeah, this video is just going to be like my opinion, and could, you know, help you if you're looking at getting one or just want to know what I think about it. So yeah, basically the biggest thing with the electric bike is obviously like the weight, essentially. So you're carrying a battery, as you can see here, and then you've also got the motor here. And by the way, this is a Haibike all mountain 7.5 electric bike. I found, like I say, with the weight, it was definitely something that I was quite concerned about, because what I wanted from an electric bike, I still wanted to be able to jump it, because obviously I wanted to try and transfer what I could jump, and like how I learned to jump on one of these. I wanted to see if I could transfer it onto this still, which, don't get me wrong, to start with it felt quite odd, having the weight, but with the Haibike, this isn't the same with all electric bikes, but they're being quite smart. Like, they've put the battery and the motor so it's like centered, so it's in the middle of the bike, so when you jump you don't feel the weight off. So I've seen on like some electric bikes you can have them like the battery on the front, you can have it on the back and stuff like that, which obviously if you jump with the battery and the weight there, it's going to throw you off quite bad. But with this one, like I say, smart move, and the design's good. They've just put it in the centre, so if anything, when you hit like a bigger jump on one of these, or this one in particular, it's more stable because the weight's all centred, and then with the weight of the bike, it just feels like really stable. So jumping it is actually really good, and something that surprised me how stable the bike is. So that's a big perk, and something that's just through design really good on the Haibike in particular. But the in the respect of, you know, like if you want to go on bike rides or use it for more distance and bits like that over lockdown and stuff, like for me, I kind of, obviously we had like an hour to go out and all that, so having the electric bike helped because it meant that I could go further. But this is where they're quite good, and what people probably don't realise if you've never rode one before is that they've got different modes, so you can like choose from the modes on the electric bike. If you want it to be like a normal bike, you can just put it in like eco mode, or just turn the motor off completely, and then it just rides like a normal bike, obviously. And then if you want the assist, you can put it into like different modes. Like there's a standard mode, there's a hot, like they name it on here as like high or extra power, EXPW. So you have like different modes that you can choose from, which is like a big perk. And the biggest thing I've found with the motor, for me personally, is when I go to like bike parks and bits like that, it's not having to pedal back up. Like for me, I find the fun in coming down like the runs and the more runs that I can do, the better. So basically having the motor and the option of the assist, basically when you come back up to the top of the run, you can do it much quicker. You just use the assist of the motor, which obviously some bike parks have an uplift, so you've not got to worry about that. But for instance, I rode a bike park, it's called Aston Hill, and you have to cycle back up to the top. Like there's no uplift basically. So there was people, you know, pushing their bikes. Some people were cycling up there, which some people generally enjoy cycling back up. So, you know, fair play. But for me, I enjoy coming down the runs like more than anything. So the more runs that I can do in a day, the better, and the more you get for your money basically. So that is probably like the biggest perk of the electric bike for me, is just the amount of runs you can get in a day, and you just use a lot less energy because, like I say, you choose the mode that you want the bike in. The downsides to an electric bike, there's only a few I can think of, which is obviously because it's electric, it is worse for the environment. So it obviously uses it to charge it. Obviously, you just plug it in and use the the electric source. But another thing which is pretty obvious is the price of the electric bikes. Like, they are like really pricey, because if you're buying a decent spec bike, obviously you've got the price of the motor and the battery and stuff like that. So like you can quite easily, like this is a rough guide, but you can quite easily spend like 5 or 6 grand on an electric bike if you're wanting like the top quality parts and like a top quality motor. So for instance, on this, like the battery and the motor on this is a Yamaha, which is like a good battery, good motor, and like the spec on the bike is really good. So this one is worth probably around like 6 or 7 grand, I'd say. So they are expensive, and that's probably like the biggest put off for people, obviously, is the price. But at the same point, you do get what you pay for. They come with a price for a reason, because they are good, and obviously the more you spend, the more you get for your money, essentially. So yeah, I think it just depends on what you want from riding. Depends on your budget, obviously, which, yeah, if you use it for more endurance, or you enjoy like the fitness aspect more than anything, then it might be an idea to stay away from electric bikes. But for me, where I use it just to do as many runs at a bike park as I can do, it is literally like the best thing. And to be honest, this summer and probably this winter coming up, I'm probably gonna leave this alone a little bit more now, and yeah, use the electric bike a bit more, because I'm just really enjoying the sessions on it. Obviously, it's different. You can't do that many tricks, and it's heavier to throw around, but still awesome fun. And yeah, just a different aspect of riding which is new to me, which I find really good fun. Another thing with electric bikes, obviously, if they go wrong, they are more expensive, especially, compared to a normal bike. Like you could, if you know a bit of mechanics, you can fix them. If something goes wrong electrically with the bike, it's going to be much more complicated and much more expensive probably to fix. You're going to have to take it back to where you bought the bike, or they might even have to send it off to the bike company. So yeah, they're, in my opinion, the good factors through what I've found riding the e-bike, and the things that I'd say aren't quite so good. But yeah, obviously everyone has a different opinion, and fair play. Whatever you think, comment down below, and if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.